It doesn't have to be a big cake, but I think a small, nice package cake to make up for the fact that the last cake, where's the egg? Where's the sugar? Where's the love? You know what I mean, right? Where's the love? You gotta love it. You gotta fucking love it, man. You gotta love it. Good to be streaming. I have something I want to take a look at today, and that is hope. That's right, chat. Hope. The Plugamatsu channel has been revived. You know, shout out Plugamatsu for reviving, and it's actually been doing. It has an amazing comeback already. But I wanted to expand upon something that a video just dropped on the Plugamatsu channel, talking about the comeback of Deep. I am a true believer of the summer of Deepwoken. I'm fairly a strong believer of the summer of Deepwoken, okay? Let me explain. Understand this. I think, well, first off, kind of nice when you get to, you know, like, they said that they were gonna, let me actually go right to the point. We were gonna hear about this. Let me show you, take a look, and it's in the announcements channel, and I think this does a lot, right? Where was it? It was like up here, right? I think the biggest thing we can look forward to are these bosses that we could be seeing. These two new bosses that we could be seeing, bro. Something like that. Now, it's old as for the announcement. The announcement's only a month. I'd say like what? Like this is like a month and a week. It's like 5 weeks old, and look. Like, I've seen a little behind the scenes, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be a good summer of Deep, bro. I think it's going to be a good summer of Deep. Ain't shit to smile about, bro. We cooked across the board. Well, let me show you, okay? We at least have some, finally, chat. Sometimes people are like, it's just something, it's just a phase. But honestly, a little positive growth can go a long way. Let me say that. A little positive growth can go a long way. Take a look. Finally, chat, for the first time in a minute. We finally hit 13K players again. Let's fucking go. Now look, okay, just look at the graph, my favorite graph. Look at that. Oh, finally. Oh my goodness, bro. We broke the cycle, bro. Now we just need to get back to here. And I'm not gonna lie, that might be the tough part. But I think at the moment, I think there's a lot to go for the game. I do think the biggest thing I hope that they bring with these two new bosses is not just that the two new bosses obviously are fun, you know what I'm saying, right? Bro, Layer 2 was story mode. I don't know what to tell y'all. Layer 2 was literally story mode. Tell me I'm wrong, bro. It's a linear dungeon with the same story every time. Clara sends you down. You figure out Chaser's doing bad shit. You murk Chaser. You go down to floor 2. It's like, yo, floor 2. And then that's literally story mode. And it's like, guess what? Are you doing Layer 2? No. Right? So it's like, but guess what people are still doing? People still making builds. People still doing some PvE somehow. And people still doing chum and ganking. So it's like, what content will players actually end up playing in the future, and what should they put their dev resources on, right? I think a lot of people tend to forget. That's why Arc is always like fucking, anytime you mention, what's it called? A new Luminant to Arc, he's like, bro. Because it's like a lot of the, you could just strip a lot of the content out of that. There's like, it's just, I feel like, well, I think more central Luminant specifically, I feel like is the hardest thing to do. And then even then, bro, they just dropped mounts, and like that could have been the thing for Central Luminant. I don't know. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I think at the end of the day, people just want a new area to go to. I think that's a lot of people, chat. Is that just me? I think a lot of people just want a new area to go to, right? And a lot of people see Central Luminant as like the ultimate new area to go to, right? And so I understand that a lot. People just want something fucking new to do. They just want a new location, okay? Like, Song Seeker's not gonna cut it after like 4 years. We get that, right? My personal opinion is that, like, I want new locations that actually introduce new gameplay. My argument is that it's not that I don't want Central Luminant, but Central Luminant, in my personal opinion, is lower on the totem pole than things like Voidsea and the Southern Luminant and Layer 3. Because in my opinion, a Voidsea Luminant and a Layer 3 sounds way more fucking geographically interesting than a Central Luminant, right? Which is mostly just land. It's like, okay, how interesting can they make Central Luminant? They can make it interesting, but I'm at here, even if you listen to like the lore of like what Layer 3 potentially is, that sounds already way more interesting. I think the only thing that Central Luminant, in my opinion, would be interesting for is like lore drops. Where, you know, that's like this That's where the authority is, where the diver probably headquarters is. There's a lot of shit that goes on in Central Luminant, which I think that makes that interesting. But it's like, I feel like in terms of gameplay itself, new gameplay mechanics to spice the game up, bro, Voidsea could be a whole. The Voidsea could be what prime Deepwoken. Well, literally what Deepwoken. Everybody was always saying like that's what Deepwoken is in the trailers, and that's literally what Voidsea could be. Deepwoken from the trailers. That old style Deepwoken that people fucking dream about. Traveling the seas. That's what Voidsea could be. And Layer 3, I think Layer 3 could just be a fucking... I think Layer 3 could be super interesting, bro. Like, another... Like, an open world... A new layer open world, bro. People have been wanting that, bro. And I think it's way more easier to make that a more interesting thing with new mechanics than Central Luminant. That's why I'm on those... That's why I prefer that they would just focus on that instead. But at the moment, I think a lot of people just feel like... A lot of people feel like the game's kind of like... aimless. So I think that's where a lot of people say like game's dead, or there's like no future. And we'll see with these new two bosses, right? I don't know. I honestly don't really know what they're going to do. I don't know if are they just going to drop the boss and call it a day. I know like that might be what it is, but I kind of hope it isn't. Being real, I want an actual packaged update. Let me explain. Okay, I don't want to just be like, because I know when they did Maestro was good. Don't get it twisted. Maestro was great. But, in my opinion, right, I actually want an actual packaged update to make up for the fact that, not War Mode. Well, even, yes, War Mode, Ceremony, all that. War events didn't feel as completed. I want to see more expanded on certain things to come along with the boss. I know that can be dropped out the weekly, but it's like, pull out the MS Paint? Sure. Here, let me get it like let me do something like this. Here, I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so let me just actually get something new. Okay. Okay, these are the ingredients to cake, right? These are the ingredients to cake. Now, with an actual update, in my opinion, that addresses everything, you have all the pieces to the cake. And there's some there. You can argue that some are more important than others, right? But you have all the pieces to the cake, right? But guess what, though? Guess what? With the world events, in my opinion, right, they were missing a few components like that can make it feel like a proper, fulfilling update for the entire player base. They were missing some components for sure, right? And so the boss itself, I'm not saying that it needs to be a giant cake, but I'm saying I think it'd be better if it was a cake instead of just a snack. You understand what I'm saying, chat? Stay with me now. Stay with me. Do you see what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be a big cake. But I think a small, nice packaged cake to make up for the fact that the last cake, where's the egg? Where's the sugar? Where's the love? You know what I mean, right? Where's the love? I just want a completed package to address everything in terms of an update. And I think that's what people kind of want as well. People don't know how to articulate it, but I think people generally understand what I'm saying, right? Like, people don't... Something feels like it was missing. Chat, would you agree? Something in the world events update felt like it was kind of, we're missing something here. What? It felt different. It didn't really feel like a big update. Right, y'all agree, right? It didn't really feel like, oh, this is the big update of Deepwoken. It felt like a better, it almost felt akin to a weekly. It's a big update, but it felt like it was a big weekly. I think for a lot of people, it felt like a big weekly, and the player count reflected that because we've had big weeklies do better. So, I think a portion of that, not all of it, but a portion of that I think comes to the fact that it's just, I feel like there was a lot of components missing. And so that's just my secret hope. I know that, you know, it might not drop with all the pieces that I'm like personally looking for in an update that would come with a boss, right? But I want to see some wins for Deepwoken. Right? Like, if y'all enjoyed the video, make sure to go click on these other videos, man, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.